The following video clips were recorded with a SpyPoint remote trail camera. I had this camera set up on the one corner of a food plot located on a private ranch located here in Central Florida. The camera is set up to record 90-second videos with a 1-minute delay between the videos. This video contained about 27 of the videos that were recorded I captured, and I tried to cut out as much dead space as possible to shorten the overall video. Probably the most important part would be at the 19-minute, 37-second to 21-minute time frame when they get two 6-point bucks got into a little tussle. You'll see that the poor loser took a real beating on one of his ears. You also see some nice long-bearded turkeys and a small group of wild hogs passing by. We started out with, we got a couple of does here casually browsing around and eating the ash anemone that's planted in there. It's hard to see. I suspect the doe in the foreground, or the one on the right, is probably the mother to the one on the left. And the one on the left is probably a year and a half old. This was recorded on September 23rd. And coming up next, we'll see 4 nice long-bearded tom turkeys coming in. These are Osceola turkeys. And this on the 24th at 8 a.m. And you only find these turkeys in Florida, up to the pretty much the Georgia border. Then after that, it's a species eastern turkeys. Now, the last one's a little bit younger. Now, here comes one. Says, hey, wait up for me. He stopped. He thinks he sees something or hears something. And he runs on. You can see he's barely got a beard, so this is a real young turkey. Basically, they call them Jakes. There we got probably the same 2 doe again. And this is on the 24th at 9 a.m. And apparently they were out in the main part of the food plot. And something must have spooked them or run off, or they got a little nervous about something being around them. And I think it'll show up here in just a second. And there he comes. That looks like a 6-point that's been showing up at the food plot for several months now. Usually he's with another one that's a 3-point. Got a real weird rack on one side. And he's following where they went. Oh, yep, they went to the left, so he's sniffing. And he's right on their trail. Appears that we're just getting into the rut. the bucks now are out looking for the females. And here's that 6-point back again. He's a young deer, probably 2.5 years old. Couple more years, he'll be a real nice looking mature buck. He's got a nice symmetrical rack. And it'll stay that way unless he gets injured. Now he's been watching something out in the main part of the food plot, and it's very possibly it could be that 3-point that's been hanging out with him. We're in the afternoon now. You can see it's about 3:45 in the afternoon on the 24th. He probably sees some doe out in the main part of the food plot. Either that or it could be some turkeys. He sees some movement in the grass. He'll keep an eye on it. Now here we are on the 25th, 7:20 in the morning. And you see this lone doe's in there by herself. She's disappeared off into the main portion of the food plot. But I think we got one of those 6-points been following her, and he shows up here shortly. Yeah, he was in another portion of the food plot. Ah, now he sees her. Actually, that guy there's an 8-point that showed up, and I suspect that's the same deer. Now here we are just a little bit later in the morning with the sun that's coming up over the trees. Unfortunately, the camera is pointed kind of southeast. So just for a little bit, it gets a little bit of glare in there, but that's definitely that 8-point buck. And he's one that's just showed up just recently. So we're going to be seeing more of him. Unfortunately, that morning glare from the sun kind of obscures any chance of seeing what that rack looks like on him. There he is. Now you get a better look. And we got one of the does in the background, and I can't tell which one it is, whether it's the real young one or the mature doe. I would have to guess that this buck is probably 3.5 years old. That doe is getting a little nervous with him getting curious about her. Here we're on the 26th, 6:13 in the afternoon. There's the 6-point back in again. Now the next little short clip, you see a big old black hog showed up right in front of the camera. There he goes. And he wanders by. It's 7:45 in the morning. Now this is that 3-point. You can see the antler on the left side, it has no point, just 1 point, where the one on the right has 2 points on it. And he hasn't developed any brow tines yet. Hopefully that rack next year will get more symmetrical. Usually when they got a mismatched rack like that, that would indicate, in this case, he'd had an injury to the right side of him somewhere. Usually the rack will get deformed on the opposite side where they have an injury. Here we are in the 27th, about 9:45 in the morning. The 6-point's still around. Now in this next video clip coming up, things start getting a little interesting. It'll start out, you see a doe and this 6-point, and there, and the doe's peeing in the, actually peeing in the water. And she walks off into the main part of the food plot, and this 6-point keeps feeding around there. Then he comes over and starts sniffing where she was peeing. Then a little bit later, right towards the end of this clip, another 6-point shows up, and he comes in the background. There he goes. He's checking where she did her business. Trying to see if she's about ready to come in the rut. He got an interesting posture to him. Now he hears something. And there it comes. And this other 6-point kind of stops, and he wants to sneak through the bushes. And he'll pop back out a little bit over there towards the right. There he comes. Now, unfortunately, we had a 1-minute delay, but you can see they get into it. And the poor guy that's in the foreground now. He's taking a beating, and if you can note, take a look at his right ear. It looks like he's got 3 ears now. And he'll come by and he'll walk in front of the camera. You take a look at that right ear. Looks like it got part of it just about ripped off. Yeah, there's that poor loser again. Here comes the bully. I'm surprised he hasn't run the other one off completely. Now I can't tell in this next clip. It's a little dark. It's about 7:23 in the morning. But it almost looks like an entirely new 6-point shows up. He turns his head away one time, and if you see, it looks like the 2 main beams are real close to each other on the end. Where in the other ones it didn't look that way. So this possibly could have 3 6 points coming in. I think that's that same 6 point. Oh yeah, he spotted a doe, and she turned and ran off, and she saw him. So we're at the end of September, and I would have to say the rut appears to be in full force right now. Now here we got a little they're pretty good sized hogs. Come strolling through almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see they come in all colors, sizes, shapes. Yeah, it's time for a couple more turkeys to come by. And they're the long birds. The long beard. They're not there very long. He picks up a buddy, and then they both kind of stroll off. Now this next clip coming up, we get the 3-point in there and we get that 8-point back. There we are, October 1st, almost 8:30 in the morning. Apparently that 8-point's not too concerned about that little 3-point. The 3-point must know his status in the row of things. And at 8-point, he keeps browsing along, and he gets down here close to the camera. You get a better look at him. And here we are late in the morning on the 1st, and this lone doe's in there again. And here we are later in the day. It's almost 4 o'clock. We're coming in, and this is where we pull the memory cards out of the camera, swap them out, and we put this video together for you. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the wildlife of Florida we got here, some of it anyway. Give me a like if you like it. Leave some comments. And let me know if you'd like to see some more. As I'm opening up the door in the camera, you can see there's the main portion of the food plot, and what you're looking at there is about 2.5 acres, and then there's another 1/2 acre that goes off on another direction.